Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is William Iannuzzi. I'm president of the Board of Education, and we are about to reconvene the public session of the meeting. Colleagues, can I get a motion and second to reconvene the public session of the meeting?
Second, Brooks.
Favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, we are going to skip our Board of Education announcements and go straight to the superintendent's report. So Dr. Reynolds, I'll throw it over to you.
Thank you very much, President Iannuzzi, and to our board members. I thank you for the opportunity to speak to our members who are here this evening in the audience, and to those who are watching at home or at a later date. I wish you a healthy hello. Please keep in mind that on Monday evening, April 28th, at the New Rochelle High School in the Whitney Auditorium at 7 p.m., the New Rochelle Fund for Educational Excellence and its Jeremy Scheinfeld Publishing Center will hold the 27th anniversary of our annual Poetry Out Loud celebration. This will be featuring 71 poets in grades K through 6 reading their original poems. Poetry Out Loud is a powerful night where our students from our schools across the district share their unique views of the world through their lens in their voice. And also, please know that our SEPTA's annual event, the We Are One Awards, is around the corner. We will be celebrating with a dinner on Thursday, May 1st at 6 p.m. at the VIP Country Club in New Rochelle. So please save the date. Also, please be reminded to our families that all schools will be closed from Friday, May 23rd through Tuesday, May 27th, 2025, for Memorial Day and the weather makeup days. Schools will reopen on Wednesday, May 28th. All offices will be closed on Monday, May 26th, in observance of Memorial Day. Now, usually I make those types of announcements at the end of my superintendent's update. I want to firstly start off with saying that the news that I'm about to share is one that affects all of us, and particularly those of us who have a heart connection to any of the individuals who are being laid off in this district. So this has been a very difficult budget year for our school district. Multiple factors have led to a $33 million budget deficit, which we must close. Unfortunately, as part of our deficit reduction, we must reduce our workforce by 193 positions. We were able to eliminate most of the 193 positions through natural attrition, including retirements, resignations, and eliminating vacant positions. While we are speaking about positions, we're also speaking about people, our valued people, people with their own families, their own rents and mortgages, and other financial and familial responsibilities and obligations. They are our colleagues and our friends. We acknowledge that this will affect their livelihoods, affect our lives, and affect all of our futures. To be honest, each one of us will be greatly affected. Tonight, I share with you the details of which reductions actually include layoffs. As of today's date, there are 54 full-time pedagogical and administrative members and 22 full-time equivalent hourly employees who will be notified or who have been notified of a layoff. These individuals will be placed on a preferred eligibility list, meaning that should a position for which they are eligible become available for the next 7 years, we will call the individuals on that list first to offer them their positions. Those whose positions are being eliminated will receive a hand-signed letter from me stating they were let go due to a workforce reduction and not due to cause. We will also support them in any way that we can with their transition to new employment. These faculty and staff members will be employed through the rest of this school year, which ends on June 30th. We are notifying them now, as this is the natural time of the year for hiring of teachers and staff members in other educational systems along the educational realm. And this also gives them as much time as possible to find new employment. Please note that the state budget has not yet been adopted, and this list may still change. If the school district receives more state aid than expected, it is our intent to propose to the board that we will restore positions that are most forward-facing to our students. So the full list of those positions which are affected by layoff. Full-time staff workforce reductions, in central administration, the Director of Family and Community Engagement, the Director of Social, Emotional, and Expanded Learning, a Project Director for Business, a Project Director for Student Support Services, one Medical Director, one Assistant Director of Special Education, one Assistant Director of Security. In central administration, positions that will not be replaced next year. Again, these are positions that have been vacated that we will not be replacing next year. One Director of Technology and one Director of World Languages. In full transparency, tonight in the agenda, you will see what some may interpret to be the creation of a new administrative position. It is not. We had a resignation of one of our directors, and we are repurposing that position to become an assistant director of world language, since we cannot fill the world language position. We've been searching for a few years for that. In addition to those layoffs, we are going to have members of our family affected in the administrators and buildings. Our 2 middle school deans will be laid off. Now we go to our instructional staff. District-wide, 1 attendance teacher at New Rochelle High School for full-time positions, 1 business teacher, 1 English teacher, 1 physical education teacher, 2 school counselors, 2 world language teachers. At New Rochelle High School part-time, 2 world language teachers. At Albert Leonard Middle School full-time, 1 English teacher, 1 home and careers teacher, 1 math teacher, 1 social studies teacher, 1 teaching assistant, and 1 world language teacher. At Isaac E. Young Middle School, full-time, 1 art teacher, 1 science teacher, 2 math teachers, 1 English teacher, 1 English as a new language teacher, 1 social studies teacher, and at Isaac E. Young Middle School part-time, 2 world language teachers. At Barnard Elementary School, 1 elementary teacher, 1 English as a new language teacher. At Columbus Elementary School, 2 elementary teachers, 1 psychologist, 2 teaching assistants. At Jefferson Elementary School, 1 library media specialist. At Trinity Elementary School, 3 elementary teachers, 1 world language teacher. At Ward Elementary School, 1 elementary teacher, 2 art teachers, 1 world language teacher, and 1 physical education teacher. At Webster Elementary School, 1 elementary classroom teacher. Full-time equivalent hourly workforce reductions across the district will equate to 5 cleaners, 8 general school aides, and equate to 9 lunch monitors. To the community, I reiterate that 1 workforce reduction in terms of a person is 1 too many. We appreciate your partnership and support as we move ahead with our budgeting process. We encourage you to participate in the public hearing on the budget on May 6th at the New Rochelle High School's Whitney Auditorium, and we encourage everyone to vote on May 20th at your local polling stations. You may continue to send questions to budgetquestions@nredlearn.org. Mr. President, with that, I conclude my report for this evening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Reynolds. Next up on our agenda is the ward presentation. So colleagues, once you grab your microphones and go sit down in the chairs, and we will have that presentation started.
I won't be able to sit, that's the problem. Yeah, so now we can sit down. Unless, I don't know where he's going. He's on the phone. What? Can I do this? I'm good now.
So as we transition to the next portion of our meeting, it is my distinct pleasure to say thank you to our host for this evening, the Ward Elementary School, that's led by our principal, Mr. Frank O'Mealy. Tonight, we are going to experience what education feels like, sounds like, and looks like here at Ward School. So with that, I introduce Mr. Mealy and his team.
Good evening, President Iannuzzi, Vice President Barrios Brooks, Vice President Lewis, esteemed board members, Dr. Reynolds, Central Office staff and administrators, community, families, and friends. Welcome to Ward School. Tonight, yet again, is a very special and fantastic night here at Ward as we get to share, highlight, and showcase some of the wonderful things that go on here each and every day. I always say that Ward School is the very best school in our tremendous school district, and I find it extremely important to thank our Ward School community and family. Our school community consists of our amazing students, staff, and families. They are all the ones that make us shine in our amazing school district. They are all truly special. As a Ward family, they are committed to the success and well-being of all of our students. Our Ward community is a true pleasure to be around. Our staff at Ward School and the entire school district is second to none. So a big thank you to all the Ward staff and the NeuroShell staff that is here tonight. It's actually truly inspirational. As I'm now finishing my 15th year as the principal here at Ward, I continue to wake up each day grateful and humbled to be coming to a place I truly love. So again, thank you. I would now like to introduce and thank my leadership team that is here tonight. First, our amazing literacy coach, Viviana Tamus. Next, our talented math coach, Nicole Conless. And finally, our two new assistant principals who have brought so much to our school, Karen Gonzalez and Jessica Bandel. It is a truly amazing team and one I am so proud of. Each of them have such a burning desire to make Ward School the very best. These four educators truly are gems and keep Ward at the top. I'm truly honored to call them colleagues and friends. So again, thank you. At this time, we will continue with our presentation, which will include a presentation on our ELA teaching and learning that takes place here at Ward, our tenure recognition of our great staff, and last but not least, our tremendous chorus will perform. Tonight, we will be discussing our ELA practices. At this time, I'd like to bring up Mrs. Bandel.
Our literacy-focused topic tonight is building content knowledge through interactive read-alouds. This work is aligned to the district's renewed focus on Tier 1 instruction. As a professional learning community, Ward teachers, instructional coaches, and administrators have done a deep dive collaboratively into this work. As you'll see later on in our presentation, Ward teachers have been engaged in the work of not just teaching reading skills and strategies in isolation, but of building students' actual deep knowledge of earth, physical, and life science topics through interactive read aloud. Our work began with author Natalie Wexler in her book, who wrote The Knowledge Gap, where she makes the claim that the most important factor in determining whether readers can understand a text is how much relevant vocabulary or background knowledge they have. We've been exploring the idea that aligning our practices to the science of reading involves much more than just phonics instruction. Reading instruction also needs to include systematically building knowledge of topics. This notion drove us to create our goal of building content knowledge through interactive read-alouds aligned to science curriculum topics.
Hi, everyone. At Ward, every PLC begins with this visual. The reading rope metaphor represents the interwoven and complex nature of reading. Each strand of the rope plays a vital role. If even one strand becomes frayed, the rope weakens and comprehension is compromised. As teachers, it is our responsibility to balance explicit and systematic phonics and phonemic awareness instruction with language comprehension across our day. Comprehension, the ultimate goal of reading, develops from the spoken language, which is why our work with interactive read aloud is so essential. Why did we select interactive read alouds as our literacy focus at Ward? Read alouds are considered a core component of Tier 1 instruction, exposing all students to complex texts they may not yet be able to read independently. Read alouds honor student identities, push rigor with equity, and reflect the core of high-quality instruction, providing engaging, inclusive, and intentional learning for every single student. Tier 1 instruction demands responsive teaching. During read-alouds, student responses and engagement offer real-time formative assessment, calling on teachers to pivot, prompt, or probe deeper. Reading comprehension is not a standalone skill. It's deeply connected to what a student already knows. As Natalie Wexler writes, knowledge like Velcro sticks best to other related knowledge. The more we build our students' background knowledge, the more we enable them to understand, analyze, and retain what they read. Read alouds serve as the vehicle to embed knowledge, making future learning easier, more meaningful, and more interconnected. At Ward, we've been unpacking the types of knowledge students need to truly comprehend a text. While we continue to explore all types of knowledge, as a school, we've dedicated our planning time to enhancing our student knowledge in the content area, specifically science. Science content knowledge means building a deep understanding of core concepts in earth, life, and physical science, not just naming facts, but understanding relationships, patterns, and systems. For students to build comprehension in science texts and discussions, they need foundational content knowledge to help synthesize new information. Understanding weather patterns, ecosystems, and physical properties can directly support informational reading comprehension and vocabulary development. To begin laying this foundation at Ward, we sourced, correlated, and purchased trade books to use as read-alouds for each homeroom teacher. These texts are meant to enhance our mystery science units and build background knowledge for both students and teachers in science. These texts, which increase in complexity, build conceptual layering over time. For example, vertical alignment in earth science across the elementary grades means that in kindergarten, students observe local weather. By grade 3, they're analyzing climate data. In grade 5, they're exploring gravitational pull and Earth's position in the solar system. Our read-alouds were chosen not only for language development, but to intentionally support our science standards, building scientific knowledge across the grades. Here's an example of how these texts shift from simple cause and effect in kindergarten, push and pull, to energy systems, magnetism, and atomic structure by grade 5. Okay. Is it, oh, okay. What? So, should I keep going? I'll go. This slide. There it goes. This slide completes the alignment view. It showcased how teachers can use these texts to develop a systems view of life science for our students, from basic needs and survival to ecosystems. As we continue to build text sets to complement our science units, it is our goal that students will have the vocabulary and understanding of scientific concepts to allow for new learning. Okay, there it goes. Okay. In New Rochelle, some teachers across the district were fortunate enough to have received LETTERS training. LETTERS stands for Language Essentials for Teachers of Reading and Spelling. Our work in PLC allowed us to transfer that teacher learning and bring the work from professional development into our classrooms. To ensure alignment and intention with our instruction, during our PLCs, we used the LETTERS Comprehension Planning Template as our guide. This tool helped us plan each of the interactive read-alouds with clear ELA and science standards connections in mind. In collaboration with classroom teachers, we identified student learning outcomes and learning targets, Tier 2 and Tier 3 vocabulary words, stopping points in the text that allow us to spark discussion, inquiry, and deeper understanding. This is a glimpse of the work we've been doing as teachers at Ward School. What makes this initiative truly impactful is that it's a shared vision. Our intentional focus on interactive read-alouds, grounded in tools like the LETTERS template, allow us to merge the art of reading aloud with the science of building content knowledge. And this is how we prepare our students for success, not just on tests, but in life and learning. Ms. Gonzalez will now share our STAR reading data along with our next steps. Thank you.
Good evening, Ward family. Buenas tardes, familia. This is our STAR reading proficiency data. The purpose of this data is to showcase and compare the growth in student reading proficiency, which means reading at grade level between fall 2024 and winter 2025 reading assessment. This is an overview of our students' growth in reading by grade level and subgroups. The key areas of reading proficiency that are evaluated are word recognition, vocabulary, comprehension, and fluency. The data shows that the average proficiency level for grade 1 through 5 was 57% in the fall. And in the winter of 2025, the average reading proficiency was at 62%, showing a 5% growth increase. Some factors contributing to our growth in reading has been the interactive read-alouds of complex text, consistent monthly PLCs for teachers' pedagogical growth and analysis of student data, an increase in student engagement protocols, our after-school academic program, and lastly, family involvement in our most recent readathon and literacy night. Our next steps to further support reading growth will be for continuous monitoring and targeted reading support during small group instruction based on data, ensuring that we are strategically embedding our read-alouds in our literacy instruction that is tied to content as a systematic approach, and most importantly, selecting texts that are culturally responsive, rich in vocabulary, that support literacy and language acquisition. Last but not least, I leave you with a quote from Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Thank you.
As you can see, we are doing some incredible work with our ELA, so a big thank you to my team and the entire staff here at Ward School. I would now like to recognize our 8 tenure recipients: Maria Belenquet, Maria Bolfamonte, Danielle Cavaluzzo, Nicole Conlisk, Jennifer DiGiacomo, Crystal Teixeira, Emanuela Thomas, and Alexandra Williams. Mrs. Belenquet, please stand. Mrs. Belenquet has successfully completed her probationary period. She is hardworking and committed to the success of all of her students. Mrs. Belenquet is a true team player who collaborates well with our other art teacher. They plan weekly lessons together. This leads to all of our students being successful. Mrs. Belenquet is a graduate of New Rochelle High School. Mrs. Belenquet has built wonderful relationships with our students, parents, and all staff at Ward. She's a quiet person who truly cares about her students in school. Mrs. Belenquet participates in all of our school activities, including Heritage Night, Yoga Night, and the parade. Mrs. Belenquet helps bring art to real life for her students. She plans lessons that are student-centered and fun to do. Mrs. Belenquet continues each day to go above and beyond. She is an absolute pleasure to work with. Thank you for all you do. Mrs. Bolfamonte, please stand. Mrs. Bolfamonte was a tenured teacher in the Chappaqua School District. She then took time off to raise her family. Mrs. Bolfamonte started her career at Ward as a permanent substitute teacher. She has now been teaching in our kindergarten co-teaching classes as a special education teacher. Mrs. Bolfamonte is one of a kind, a truly gifted teacher. Mrs. Bolfamonte works beautifully with both of her co-teachers. They plan and collaborate so every child can be successful. Mrs. Bolfamonte goes above and beyond for her students in school. She has built tremendous relationships with her students and families. Mrs. Bolfamonte is a very calm and reassuring teacher. She carries herself in a quiet and confident manner. Staff and students alike benefit from her even-keeled disposition. She is a true role model for everyone at Ward. Thank you for all you do. Ms. Cavalluzzo, please stand. Ms. Cavalluzzo began her career here at Ward as a student teacher and then a permanent substitute. She is a committed, passionate, and dedicated professional. Ms. Cavalluzzo has built wonderful relationships with her students, parents, and all staff at Ward. She carries herself in a positive and upbeat manner, which is infectious to the entire community. Staff and students alike benefit from her positive energy. Ms. Cavalluzzo, without question, is a positive role model to all the people she's in contact with. Ms. Cavalluzzo is a flexible and adaptable educator. She taught reading, 2nd grade, and now is teaching 5th grade here at Ward. Ms. Cavalluzzo never complains and has been amazing in all of the grades. Ms. Cavalluzzo displays strong instructional skills with the 5th grade curriculum. She has a great ability to differentiate instruction for all members of the class and employs numerous classroom management strategies to ensure that our classes run smoothly. Ms. Cavalluzzo also runs our fantastic student council. Thank you for all you do. Mrs. Conlisk, please stand. Mrs. Conlisk came to Ward School as an experienced educator from New York City who is highly respected by all. She taught and was a math coach for many years in the New York City Department of Education in a tenured position, and now has been our math coach for the last 4 years at Ward. Mrs. Conlisk is a highly skilled coach. She is hardworking, dedicated, and truly passionate in all she does. Mrs. Conlisk is a true team player who has done a wonderful job in collaborating with all of her colleagues. She meets regularly with our teachers to strengthen and support their instruction in the curriculum. Mrs. Conlisk has built wonderful relationships with her students, parents, and all staff at Ward. She carries herself in a positive and upbeat manner, which is infectious to our entire community. Staff and students alike benefit from her positive disposition. Ms. Conlisk, without question, is a positive role model to all the people she is in contact with. Mrs. Conlisk participates in many school initiatives, including running Math Night, Pi Day, and our Sunshine Committee. Math Night and Pi Day are 2 of our most successful initiatives. Mrs. Conlisk gives up her lunch and prep many times during the year to help a student, attend a meeting, or conference of parents. Mrs. Conlisk is a true pleasure to work with as an asset to our school and district. Thank you. Mrs. DiGiacomo, please stand. Mrs. DiGiacomo came to Ward School as an experienced educator from New York City who is highly respected by all. She taught for many years in the New York City Department of Education in a tenured position and now has been teaching art for the last 4 years at Ward. Mrs. DiGiacomo is a graduate of Ward and New Rochelle High School. Mrs. DiGiacomo is a highly skilled teacher. She is hardworking, dedicated, and truly passionate in all she does. Mrs. DiGiacomo has developed amazing relationships with her students. They absolutely love her. She connects with all of her students. Mrs. DiGiacomo provides a safe and secure environment for her students. Mrs. DiGiacomo is an extremely talented art teacher. She brings her class to life. Mrs. DiGiacomo is thoroughly prepared each day. Mrs. DiGiacomo continues to go above and beyond for her students, Ward School, and our entire community. She participates in all the extra activities here at Ward. Mrs. DiGiacomo is a true team player and is absolutely loved at Ward. Mrs. DiGiacomo is without a doubt one of the top art teachers in our district. Thank you for all you do. Ms. Teixeira, please stand. Ms. Teixeira is a teaching assistant who works with our students in our district-wide second and third grade self-contained class. Ms. Teixeira does it with passion, energy, and compassion. Ms. Teixeira absolutely loves the children. It is quite evident that the children know how much she cares and loves them. Ms. Teixeira is also a New Rochelle High School graduate. Ms. Teixeira is a wonderful team player. She works beautifully with her team. This leads to an amazing classroom environment. Ms. Teixeira is hardworking, dedicated, and truly passionate about all she does. In addition, Ms. Teixeira is very knowledgeable in instruction. She is able to take small groups each day and have the children improve. Ms. Teixeira is a positive role model to everyone at Ward. She's a true pleasure to work with. Thank you for all you do. Ms. Thomas, please stand. Ms. Thomas began her career here as a student teacher and then a permanent substitute. Ms. Thomas is a graduate of New Rochelle High School. She is an amazing educator who is truly committed and passionate to her students and school. Ms. Thomas is a true leader who goes above and beyond and who strives to be the very best each day. The students, staff, and families of Ward School respect and admire her. She calls her students when they are ill or seem like they had a bad day at school. She creates a safe learning environment where students feel very comfortable answering and asking questions. Ms. Thomas has very high expectations for her children and believes all of her students can and will succeed. She works tirelessly to assist them. Ms. Thomas is a true pleasure to work with as an asset to our school and district. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Ms. Williams, please stand. Mrs. Williams came to Ward School as an experienced educator from New York City who is highly respected by all. She taught for many years in the New York City Department of Education in a tenured position and now has been teaching first and second grade special education for the last 3 years at Ward. Mrs. Williams is a highly skilled educator. She is hardworking, dedicated, and truly passionate in all she does. Mrs. Williams is a true team player who has done a wonderful job in collaborating with all of her colleagues. She meets regularly with our building literacy coach as well as our math coach to strengthen and support her instruction in both curriculums. Mrs. Williams has built wonderful relationships with her students, parents, and all staff at Ward School. As a special education teacher supporting the ICT program at Ward, Mrs. Williams partners with her general education counterparts to implement effective instructional practices. She is a fierce advocate for all students and has demonstrated a commitment to ensuring that their academic and social needs are addressed. Mrs. Williams is a true asset to our school and district. Thank you for all you do. And now on to the show. I would like to bring up our talented Mr. Flans and our amazing fifth grade chorus. Caitlin, you have the papers?
We would like to thank everyone for coming tonight. This is a special day in our school community, and we are so glad you can be part of it. We would like to take this opportunity to thank the Board of Education for all that they do for our schools.
A special thanks to Mr. Mealy, Ms. Gonzalez, Ms. Bandel, and Mr. Lucero for all their outstanding leadership and support.
Finally, a big thanks to our music teacher, Mr. Flans, for creating a fun and engaging learning environment.
The first song we would like to perform is A Million Dreams from The Greatest Showman. This song is about embracing our hopes and dreams. It's a song that looks beyond the present and allows us to envision a world with endless possibilities where a million dreams can come true.
This song captures the spirit of dreaming big regardless of the many obstacles that we may face along the way.
Through the dark
Good evening, my name is Mr. Flans. The Ward Chorus has worked tirelessly and dedicated their time and efforts to prepare a concert that showcases their musical growth, teamwork, and self-expression. Tonight, our chorus is thrilled to be joined by incredibly talented New Rochelle High School students that are all Ward alumni. These dedicated students started their musical journey here at Ward School and are now members of one of the best performing arts and visual education programs in New York, the PAVE program. I'm hoping that these Ward students here at Ward will obviously follow their trajectory and join the PAVE program. Please join me in welcoming Quinton Young, Gabby Cohen, Alan Dimond, and Dylan Zung on guitar.
Eye of the Tiger is a song released in 1982 by the rock band Survivor. This is a song about finding your inner strength and persevering through difficult times. Enjoy the song.
Is that not a perfect song for the times we're in? Ward knows how to pick them. Thank you, Mr. Flans. And how amazing it is to see our former students performing with our students now. Can't beat it. Unbelievable. To finish up our presentation, I would first like to thank our Board of Education for all your support for Ward School. The support that I've always been given, both professionally and personally, has been truly amazing, so thank you all again. Thank you. I would also like to thank Dr. Reynolds and our central office team. It is a very nice team to work with. I would like to give a big thank you to my direct supervisors, Dr. Roberts and Dr. Krakow. Dr. Roberts and Dr. Krakow are amazing people to work so closely with. I cannot thank them enough, so thank you. As I am the longest tenured principal in New Rochelle and often get compared to such legends as Bill Evans, Bill Harrell, Anthony Bongo, and Donnie Zaccanino, it truly makes me so proud of the sustained excellence we have maintained throughout my time here at Ward. I look forward to many more years to come. And in closing, I say this every year, and every year it's the truth. I'm truly blessed and honored to be the principal of Ward School. I thank you and have a great evening. You want me to move it over? Questions?
So as we transition our families who are going to pick up their students, we wanted to take an opportunity to have a conversation with our ward leadership for our board members. So firstly, I wanted to just highlight two things. Firstly, the presentation this evening focused on reading comprehension. And that reading comprehension is really a background knowledge base. So we can have students who can sound out words, put words together, and read sentences, but without that background experience, without the whole child experience, reading comprehension often lacks. And then when you couple that with what we've just seen this evening, with the expression of talent through song and through playing instruments, all of that comprises background knowledge, background information, an opportunity for students to bring that to their learning and learning expression. So I'd like to thank Ward School for really bringing to us an expression of what the whole child and the whole educational process here at Ward School looks like. So let's give the Ward team again another round of applause. And I always say that I'm an older person, but thank you very much for picking Eye of the Tiger, because I don't want to tell you where I was in my life when that was my song. And as a matter of fact, when I was a principal in a 5th grade school, my students performed that song. And knowing the talents that I had, they invited me to join them in that performance. But now I can't carry a tune, and I can't play an instrument, so they allowed me to play the triangle. And I don't think I did very well, but thank you for bringing that memory back. So with that, we're going to turn it over to the board for any questions.
Do any of my colleagues have any comments or questions?
Thank you, Mr. Bambarola. No, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Uh-oh.
I'm glad it wasn't me.
Excuse me, it's been a long day. Sorry. Thank you, Mealy, and thank you to your team. So it's unacceptable that I said the wrong name, but please forgive me. You know that I really think very highly of you and your team. And also to Fuse for being here and for our parents and our children. And congratulations to all of the tenure recipients. It's truly well deserved. And thank you for bringing your talents here to New Rochelle. And thank you for bringing our families here and our children where they're really thriving. And I'm proud to be part of New Rochelle, and we want the best for everyone here in New Rochelle. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Do any of my other colleagues have any questions or comments? Ms. Ross?
I didn't really have any questions, but just wanted to thank Mr. Mealy and your team. It's just always a wonderful experience to come into this school. You can feel the energy, the vibrancy, and that our students are really thriving here. So thank you for all that you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Ross. Anybody else? Seeing none, thank you very much, Mr. Mealy and team. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So at this time, we are going to be led through a discovery of curriculum and instruction and some data related to it as we take a look at our performance based on our standards of learning through our strategic roadmap and led through our curriculum and instruction team. So tonight, leading our team, and I thank so many of them for being here for this evening, I am going to introduce our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, Dr. Olivine Roberts.
Thank you, Dr. Reynolds. Good evening, Board President Iannuzzi, members of the board, Dr. Reynolds, and our community. Joining me tonight is Dr. Nicholas Kracker, who serves as our Executive Director for Educational Leadership and Early Learning. Tonight, we have a lengthy presentation, I'm letting you know that now, but we're pleased to give you this rigorous update regarding the implementation of the strategic roadmap, particularly the direction student learning. In doing so, we will proceed as follows. We will begin by setting the context for tonight's presentation. Next, we will reflect on the goals established for the 23-24 school year and note our accomplishments. Following that, we will present the goals for this year, emphasizing our key areas of focus. Lastly, we will outline the work moving forward, detailing how we intend to build up on our accomplishments and address our challenges. As is our custom, we will begin by grounding our discussion in the district's core foundational anchors while providing an overview of our comprehensive pre-K-12 programs and supports. Our vision, mission, and equity statements are our anchors and guiding principles, reflecting our steadfast commitment to providing comprehensive academic programming for all students. These principles, along with our whole child approach, honoring identity, fostering belonging, and building agency, are essential to creating an environment where students feel valued, feel appreciated, and are empowered to reach their full potential. In service to our vision, mission, and our equity statements, our graduate profile underscores our commitment to the whole child by defining a shared set of academic and social-emotional competencies which characterize our graduates and guide their preparation so they are future-ready and are equipped to thrive beyond their time with us. These foundational elements collectively establish a unified framework through which we intentionally create a coherent pathway that begins in pre-K2 and continues in grades 3-5, 6-8, and 9-12. This alignment ensures that our students are supported, challenged, and are prepared, not just for the next grade, but are building lifelong success beyond our school system. This coherent pathway is further strengthened through the strategic implementation of our pre-K-12 programs, which include both core academics, excuse me, and electives such as the arts, physical education, health, and world languages. Additionally, we provide targeted supports for our English language learners, our students with disabilities, and our striving learners. These programs and supports are reviewed and aligned across grade levels and are informed by our assessment and accountability structures, ensuring ongoing improvement and effectiveness. This scope of work and services are informed by each direction outlined in our strategic roadmap and is directly in service to the specific overarching goal and objectives of the student learning direction. As a reminder, to achieve our overarching goal and providing high quality and challenging education that promotes the intellectual, creative, social, emotional, and physical development of our students, we have established the following 5 objectives. This slide introduces Objective A, which calls for us to develop a comprehensive academic framework that unifies our schools, districts' curriculum, instructional strategies, assessments, academic interventions, and grading practices. This unified system will ensure consistency across the district and be equitable, culturally responsive, and aligned to the New York State's learning standards. Our goal is to effectively address the needs of every student and bridge the opportunity and achievement gaps among various groups, including but not limited to our students with disabilities, our English language learners, and our diverse and racial ethnic populations. Objectives B and C are centered on enhancing proficiency, optimizing performance, and reducing disparities among various groups at each grade level in literacy and mathematics, respectively. Lastly, objectives D and E are on this slide. Objective D aims to enhance student access to advanced coursework, including gifted and talented programs, dual enrollment, and advanced placement courses. Expanding these opportunities is crucially for promoting equity and ensuring that all students, regardless of background, can benefit from rigorous academic experiences. Objective E is dedicated to increasing the district's overall 4-year graduation rate while reducing disparities in graduation rates among our various subgroups. Slides 14 through 16 display the objectives alongside their corresponding metrics, comprising of both qualitative and quantitative measures with defined baselines, 5-year targets that we are using to effectively monitor progress and achievement. To do so, we are effectively measuring the attainment of Objective A, the development of a coherent and comprehensive academic system, using the following 4 metrics. The ELA Proficiency Composite, comprising of grades 3 through 8 New York State ELA assessments, the high school ELA regions, and the district-administered K-8 STAR reading assessment. The baseline proficiency for this composite is 45.7%, with a 5-year target of reaching 64% by the 26-27 school year. The math proficiency composite, consisting of grades 3 through 8 math assessments, Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2 regions, and the district-administered grade 1 through 8 STAR assessment has a baseline proficiency that stands at 48.4%, and we're aiming for a 60% proficiency rate within the 5 years. This measure also monitors the creation of our curriculum maps for the 4 core areas of ELA, mathematics, science, and social studies. Previously, when we arrived in the district, we did not have curriculum maps, so hence our baseline is 0, with our goal of having across the K-12 spectrum curriculum maps for all grade levels. And lastly, stakeholder perceptions will be assessed using the district's climate survey that was recently administered. We will use the results to establish our baseline by June of this year. And we're aiming on, we don't know what the results are yet, but we believe we can strive to achieve a 15% improvement. And if we're already in a good place, we'll make it higher because we want it to be a realistic and attainable target by the year 2027. To effectively measure Objective B, addressing literacy, the metrics are delineated using 2 grade bands, our K-8 and 9-12. For K-8, the assessment tools are the New York State grades 3 through 8 ELA assessments and the district assessment K-8 STAR reading. For this particular grade band, and we're being very specific, we're not just staying at the 100,000-foot view, we're giving you the data for every grade band. So the proficiency rate for K-8 is 42.7%, and our 5-year target is set at 62%. The high school ELA regions, is used to measure progress for grades 9-12. The baseline proficiency for 9-12 stands at 82%, and the 5-year target is 88%. To effectively measure Objective C, addressing mathematics, like literacy, we're using the 2 grade bands, K-8 and 9-12. For grades K-8, we're using the grades 3 through 8 New York State math assessment, along with the district-administered grade 1 through 8 STAR assessment. The composite baseline for grades 3 through 8 in math is 48.1%, with the 5-year target of 65%. Progress in math for grades 9 through 12 is being measured using the regions, which is a combination of Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. The baseline stands at 49.9%, and the 5-year target is 66%. Regarding Objective D, access to advanced coursework, we have 2 metrics: enrollment in AP and dual enrollment courses, as well as the performance outcomes on AP exams and the attainment of college credits by taking dual enrollment courses. The composite baseline for students participating in both AP and dual enrollment is 45.3%, with a 5-year target of 63%. The composite baseline for the performance of them attaining at least a 3 on AP exams and or earning college credits stands at 56%, with a 5-year target of 70%. As it pertains to Objective E, our overall graduation rate, the district 4-year, not 5 or 6, but the first rung, 4-year cohort average is being used. The baseline for the district is 80%, and a 5-year target of 87%. At this time, Dr. Krakow will share last year's goals and our noted accomplishments. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Roberts, and good evening. So to begin, we'd like to revisit our overarching goal and associated objectives for the student learning direction. To evaluate our progress towards these objectives, last year we established these 3 specific goals. Goal 1, increase the percentage of students achieving proficiency in both ELA and mathematics by 5%. addressing objectives A, B, and C. Goal 2, enhance student participation in advanced coursework by raising the percentage of students enrolled in at least one AP or dual enrollment course by 4%, and increasing the percentage of students scoring at least a 3 on an AP exam or earning dual enrollment college credits by 3.5%, aligning with Objective D. Goal 3, improve the district's 4-year graduation rate by 2%, in line with Objective E. Again, these outcomes were determined by us as a means of achieving the end of plan targets outlined in our strategic roadmap. We will now present the key accomplishments related to the various objectives, starting with Objectives A, the development of our comprehensive academic system. We are pleased to report significant progress in achieving Objective A. This discussion will address our curricular programming, including both core content areas and elective programs, emphasize our efforts to support English language learners, students with disabilities, and striving learners. Additionally, highlight how data-informed practices were leveraged to facilitate timely instructional adjustments. Regarding the teaching and learning of our core content areas, our educators continued to implement our K-12 ELA and mathematics, as well as our grades 6-12 science and social studies scope and sequence documents. These frameworks ensure consistent and cohesive instruction across grade levels, promoting a seamless educational experience for our students across the district. Furthermore, a dynamic group of teacher leaders from across the district worked diligently to develop our K-5 science scope and sequence documents, aligning our elementary science curriculum with the New York State P12 science learning standards. In our commitment to provide a strong start that best positions our youngest learners for success, we expanded our pre-K programs by introducing one full-day program, thereby serving an additional 46 students, bringing our total number of students being served to 462. To ensure consistency of practice across grade levels and schools, we continued to implement our district standards of service. These expectations are used to inform planning, scheduling, and staffing of our school's educational program, designed to address the needs of all students and meet college and career readiness course progression across all schools. And lastly, for this slide, we remain committed with our adoption of the New York State Education Department's culturally responsive sustaining education framework. This slide illustrates the interconnectedness of the 4 core principles of the New York State Department's culturally responsive and sustaining, or known as CRSE, framework. At the core of the framework is Principle 1, welcoming and affirming environment, a reflection of our belief that a warm, inclusive, and respectful school climate is the essential foundation upon which all academic and instructional practices are built. This principle lays the groundwork for Principle 2, high expectations and rigorous instruction, and Principle 3, inclusive curriculum and assessment. Together, these principles directly impact instructional quality and student achievement, ensuring that every student has access to grade-level content, opportunities for meaningful and engaging learning experiences, and a learning environment that communicates the belief that they can and will succeed. The success and sustainability of these efforts rest on Principle 4, ongoing professional learning. This principle underscores the importance of a collaborative professional learning and the intentional transfer of learning into practice so that what we learn translates into meaningful change in classrooms. And collectively, these 4 principles form a cohesive and guiding framework that informs all aspects of our instructional work and help us to provide an equitable, culturally responsive education tailored to the diverse needs of our student community. In service to Principle 2, leaders dedicated time last year to collaboratively develop a definition of rigorous instruction tailored to our educational context. This definition, shown on the slide, emphasizes a student-centered and inclusive approach to education, focusing on adaptability and continuous improvement to ensure that all students are equipped to engage with complex and challenging content. This definition aligns seamlessly with our district's vision, mission, and equity statements, ensuring that our instructional practices are not only challenging, but also equitable and inclusive. As it pertains to our elective content areas, these accomplishments also warrant being highlighted. Our performing and visual arts education, known as PAVE, under the leadership of Director Matthew Lucero, has undergone continued vertical alignment to ensure coherence across genres and grade levels. This strategic alignment fosters a seamless progression of skills and knowledge, enhancing the overall educational experience for our students. To provide students with a more robust learning experience, last year, the Grade 4-6 Summer Music Academy was restructured and expanded as a means of offering a more robust learning experience for our students. The program evolved from a 40-minute small group specialized instrumental instruction to a comprehensive 3-hour daily schedule, including the small group specialized instrumental instruction, whole group general music instruction, music technology workshops, and ensemble experiences. In addition, the revision to PAVE audition processes continued. Auditions were conducted during the school day at each of our middle schools, increasing accessibility for students. Students were encouraged to audition for multiple PAVE programs, promoting interdisciplinary participation. The focus shifted from fulfilling a predetermined number of seats to evaluating student competency, removing caps on ensemble acceptances. Students were granted opportunities to re-audition, receiving actionable and timely feedback to support their growth. These efforts have led to increased student engagement. Audition participation rose, contributing to a 9% increase in the acceptance into PAVE programs, rising from 67.61% to 76.37% for the current school year. Last year, our Supervisor of Health and Physical Education, Tilsa Rodriguez-Gonzalez, expanded the All Kids Bike program from Barnard Elementary to include Columbus and Jefferson Elementary schools. This initiative aims to teach kindergarten and first grade students essential motor skills, fitness, and bike safety while promoting goal setting and building self-confidence. The New York State Education Department offers 2 prestigious distinctions, the Seal of Biliteracy and the Seal of Civic Readiness, to honor high school students who demonstrate exceptional proficiency in specific areas. Last year, 72 of our students were awarded the Seal of Biliteracy, a notable increase from 41 recipients in 2023. And this seal recognizes students who have attained a high level of proficiency in English and at least one other world language. Last school year marked the inaugural implementation of the Seal of Civic Readiness in our state, and we are proud to report that 42 of our seniors earned this distinction, which acknowledges students who have demonstrated a high level of proficiency in civic knowledge, civic skills, civic mindset, and civic experiences and engagement, and the completion of action projects in civics or social justice. In our ongoing commitment to student success, we have continued to implement a comprehensive range of support systems tailored to meet the diverse needs of our learners. Last year, we further expanded our multi-tiered systems of supports, known as MTSS, processes and practices. Under the leadership of Director Tiara Reyes-Vega, we initiated the implementation of K-8 English as a New Language benchmark assessments aligned with the New York State English as a Second Language Achievement Test, known as the NYSESLAT. These assessments, focusing on listening and speaking modalities, were administered 3 times during the year to monitor student progress and inform instruction To bolster core instruction, we developed supplemental E&L resources aimed at enhancing language acquisition and academic achievement. And to improve our E&L intake process, we began administration a series of in-person informal assessments. These assessments serve multiple purposes: to identify trends and patterns in incoming students' English and native language proficiency, as well as literacy readiness, providing receiving schools with data snapshots of new students to inform instructional planning, and guiding professional learning and initiatives designed to support our English language learners. Since this is the family's first encounter with the district, we leveraged the opportunity to not only share some of our programs, our resources, and our community-based organizations, but more importantly, for us to learn from them and see how best we can support and partner with each other. Overall, this enhanced intake process established a consistent practice for linguistic identification and accurate placement, ensuring the success of our newly arrived students and strengthening the home-school connection. Regarding our students with disabilities, under the leadership of directors Yvonne Palmer, who is no longer in the district, and Michelle O'Brien, we updated our range of services and supports to better align with the diverse needs of our students, ensuring more tailored and effective educational experiences. And dedicated time was allotted to refining the delivery of specially designed instruction, aiming to improve educational outcomes and foster greater student engagement. We are proud to continue our collaboration with Montefiore New Rochelle through Project Search, a one-year transition program that prepares our high school students with intellectual and developmental disabilities for successful transitions into the workforce and competitive employment. Last year, 5 students took part in this program as interns at Montefiore New Rochelle. While our district average employment rate for participants is 80%, last year, 60% of our interns secured gainful employment. This is commendable achievement, considering that the employment rate for individuals with disabilities in New York is approximately 41% and only 20% nationally. To support ongoing improvement, our Office of Assessment, Accountability, and Research, led by Jim Anderson, continued to provide schools and departments with timely access to a wide range of data and data-informed tools to guide programmatic decisions and enhancements. So we will transition to objectives B and C, which focuses on the performance of students in the areas of literacy and mathematics. So, to improve student outcomes in literacy and mathematics, we remain committed to the implementation of our K-12 scope and sequence maps. We continue to utilize data-informed practices guided by our locally developed data protocol. We also sustained the implementation of multi-tiered systems of support, MTSS. Targeted small group instruction in both literacy and math remained a key component of our academic intervention services. Additionally, we continued our use of the Amira Learning Reading Assessment and Dyslexia Screener, which is aligned with the science of reading. And this tool measures students' reading proficiency, identifies potential risk for dyslexia, surfacing early indicators of reading difficulties, and pinpoints specific areas of need. By identifying these challenges early, we are able to deliver timely, individualized, and differentiated supports, helping ensure students are positioned to reach proficiency by grade 3. We support our striving learners, students facing challenges in both mathematics and/or reading. As it pertains to mathematics, we have strengthened mathematics instruction through our continued partnership with New Perspectives on Learning. In service to reading, we implemented a comprehensive suite of research-based literacy practices grounded in the science of reading. This included both systematic instructional programs and ongoing professional learning, consisting of the Amira instructional program for our K-3 teachers, the Orton-Gillingham Multisensory Approach to Literacy Instruction Professional Learning Series, in which 99 K-8 teachers and teaching assistants participated in a comprehensive 30-hour training. And in addition, 15 of these teachers further deepened their experience by completing a year-long practicum, culminating in the achievement of the Classroom Educator Level Certificate. Also, we implemented the Preventing Academic Failure, known as PAF, reading program, a structured, comprehensive language framework of which 63 K-5 teachers participated in a 20-hour training program. Furthermore, we incorporate letters, language essentials for teachers of reading and spelling, a 2-year professional learning series designed to equip educators with the essential knowledge and skills for effective reading and writing instruction. Last year, a cohort of 42 K-5 teachers completed the 2-year program, and another cohort of 40 began. With the use of these evidence-based programs and robust professional learning, we are building a strong foundation to meet the diverse needs of our students. Once again, the overarching goal of these 3 objectives was to increase student proficiency levels by 5%, from 45% to 50% in ELA, and from 53% to 58% in mathematics. Now, as a reminder, these metrics used to measure progress towards these goals include a composite of state assessments, grades 3-8 NYSED, and Regents exams, and the district's local measure, the STAR assessment. We will now turn our attention to a review of the outcomes achieved through these efforts, beginning with ELA. While we did not achieve a target of a 5% increase, we did make progress with a 1% overall improvement, bringing the percentage of students performing at the proficiency level to 46%. Now, specifically, on the grades 3-8 NYSED and the K-8 STAR assessments, there was a modest increase of 0.4%, rising from 43% to 43.4%. For the Regents exams, the performance showed a much more substantial gain, with a 6% increase, moving from 71% to 77%. The district results reveal an overall increase of 1% in the percentage of students across the grades scoring at or above the proficiency level in ELA. Now, in the following slides, we will present the detailed composite reading results, then break down the outcomes for each individual assessment. So this disaggregated view of the composite data, including the K-8 STAR reading, grades 3-8 NYSED ELA, and the high school ELA Regents, shows that every subgroup either stayed the same or experienced a small increase, except English language learners, who declined by 2% from 2023 to 2024. The achievement gap still exists, especially for our most vulnerable students, our students with disabilities, and our English language learners. A disaggregated analysis of the STAR K-8 reading data reveals that all subgroups saw slight gains, except English language learners, who declined by 1% from 2023 to 2024. On the grades 3-8 state assessments, the district's overall proficiency rate fell by 3% from 2023 to 2024, and the graph illustrates declines across every subgroup. And just a note, last year was the first year the assessment was administered online. This slide displays the data for the ELA Regents. As the slide reveals, there was an increase in the district's overall performance and for most subgroups from 2023 to 2024. Now, shifting to mathematics, our students' performance in math was measured by the STAR assessment in grades 1-8 and the state's assessments in grades 3-8, along with the Regents Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. Again, similar to literacy, we did not meet our goal of a 5% increase. We had a modest increase of 3%, leading to 56% of our students performing at the proficiency level. Specifically, on the grade 3-8 NYSED and STAR assessments, there was a small increase of 1%, rising from 53% to 54%. For the Regents math exams, the performance showed a more substantial gain with a 9% increase, moving from 54% to 63%. In the following slides, we will present the detailed composite mathematics results, then break down the outcomes for each band of assessments. So this disaggregated comparative look at the composite data included 1-8 STAR math, 3-8 NYSED math, plus Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2, shows that every subgroup has an increase from 2023 to 2024. And like literacy, the achievement gap does still exist, especially for our most vulnerable students. A disaggregated analysis of the 1 through 8 star math data reveals that most subgroups saw slight gains or remained the same, except race other, who declined by 1% from 2023 to 2024. On the 3-8 state math assessments, the district's overall proficiency rate was unchanged from 2023 to 2024. The chart shows largely steady subgroup performance with a 1% decrease for white students, a 1% increase for Hispanic students, and a 2% gain for English language learners. Again, as a reminder, last year marked the first year the math assessment was delivered online. This slide presents the composite math regents data, Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. So from 2023 to 2024, the district's overall performance and every subgroup's results improved significantly. So at this time, I'd like to re-invite Dr. Roberts to present on objectives D and E.
Thank you, Nick. So now we will begin with objective D, access to advanced coursework. So in service to this objective, we continue to provide access by offering high school courses to students in middle school. Notably, last year marked the second year of implementation of our grade 6 whole grade math acceleration program. This initiative provides incoming sixth graders who demonstrate mathematical ability and disposition the opportunity to engage in coursework beyond their standards grade level curriculum. The goal is to place these students on a trajectory that allows for participation in advanced placement or other advanced coursework in mathematics by the time they reach their junior year of high school. And for some, it will be their sophomore year, beginning based upon their placement in middle school. Our high school continued to offer a comprehensive slate of college-level coursework, including 17 dual enrollment classes and 31 advanced placement courses. The dual enrollment courses were offered in collaboration with Syracuse University, Mercy University, and Westchester Community College. To position our students for success in these rigorous pathways, our high school continued to deliver comprehensive targeted supports to maximize student success, including during the day as well as after-school extra help sessions facilitated by our teachers, Saturday Academy AP Prep test prep sessions, the continued implementation of the student success plans, featuring timely academic interventions focusing on credit recovery, course selection guidance, transcript audits, excuse me, and course, excuse me, graduation requirement monitoring, as well as coordinated wraparound services for social, emotional, behavioral, and attendance needs. We also, I'm giving them the credit because it's due, regular counselor check-ins for course planning. Furthermore, the high school leadership team continued to strengthen student and family engagement by facilitating course informational sessions, presenting at the Latinx Student Leadership Conference, actively garnering student feedback from students, and by building awareness through the continued creation of dynamic digital and print outreach materials, including flyers and an updated webpage. All these efforts have resulted in the College Board awarding our high school with the Bronze Honor Roll Award in recognition of their outstanding commitment to expanding access to rigorous coursework and equitable access. As a reminder, the goal of this objective was to increase enrollment in AP and dual enrollment classes by 4%, and increase performance outcomes on AP exams and the college attainment of credits via dual enrollment by 3.5%. Let's take a look at our results. As reflected on this slide, we were unable to meet our target of 4%. We observed a slight growth of 1% with the percentage of high school students enrolled in at least one AP or dual enrollment course going from 42 to 43%. To provide context, because numbers matter, the scope of our advance, even though it was 1%, meant that 809 students, let me repeat, 809 students in grades 10 through 12 took 1,529 AP courses. I want that to settle. 442 students participated in 557 dual enrollment courses. We are pleased to share that we achieved our target of college credit attainment. So our students are graduating our high school, or graduated last year, because this was last year, entering college with the likelihood, if they're receiving university, accepted the AP scores, they actually entered having college credits. And they entered if they took a dual enrollment course with college credits. 66.8% of our students earned a score of a 3 or received college credits. This represents a 4.8 improvement from the 23 school year to last year. This graph illustrates the overall percentage of students enrolled in at least one AP or dual enrollment course. While we observed increased participation among Black, Hispanic, and white students, the data reveals less favorable outcomes for other racial groups, as well as students with disabilities and our English language learners, where enrollment rates did not increase. These mixed results highlight the importance of continuing our efforts to ensure equitable access and support for all students, excuse me, to ensure that they are able to be successful when participating in these rigorous academic courses. To deepen our understanding of student participation, we will now examine the data separately for AP and then for dual enrollment. Beginning with AP enrollment data, this slide presents the percentage of the 809 students disaggregated by subgroup who took at least one AP course. As illustrated, AP participation increased in 2024 among Black and Hispanic students. Conversely, there was a decline in AP participation among white students. While rates remained unchanged for students of other races, students with disabilities, and English language learners. Turning to dual enrollment, the graph displays the percentage of the 442 students disaggregated by subgroup who took at least one dual enrollment course. As illustrated, excuse me, participation increased slightly in the 2024 year among Hispanic students and students with disabilities. Can we just simmer in that for a moment? That's just awesome. Participation declined, unfortunately, with our white students and students identified as other races. And enrollment rates remained unchanged for our Black students and our English language learners when compared to 2023. We will now shift our focus to student performance outcomes. Going from left to right, this slide shows the combined percentage of students scoring a 3 or higher on AP exams or earning college credits by taking dual enrollment courses. indicating a total increase of 5 percentage points from the 23 school year to the 24 school year. Let's examine each pathway individually. There was a 5% increase in the number of students achieving a score of 3 or more on AP exams, and a 2% increase in the number of students earning college credits via dual enrollment. Now we will review the disaggregated analysis by student subgroup of our AP performance. We're pleased to note that all subgroups demonstrated a range of improvement in the percentage of students scoring at least a 3 on our AP exams. Notably, the greatest gains were observed among our students with disabilities and our English language learners. Please note that while we were unable to obtain the disaggregated data for dual enrollment from our partnering schools, and this limitation restricts our ability to analyze the outcomes and to share with you how the data are disaggregated. Know that we're still fully committed to ensure that all subgroups have greater access to both dual enrollment and AP courses. We'll now shift to objective E, which centers on our district 4-year graduation rate. In support of objective E, and to ensure that all students are successfully completing high school and are prepared for college, career, and whatever their post-secondary pathway may be, we want to make certain that we continue to implement a comprehensive set of targeted strategies. And as such, we're going to share with you what the high school did last year. School counselors conducted quarterly audits of student transcripts to verify that students were enrolled in the correct sequence of courses, because if we're not on the correct path, we're not going to graduate. That they were demonstrating academic success in their coursework, and they were on track for graduation. For students who missed or failed a course, in-time credit recovery was offered during the school day, so they had options during the school day through online platforms, or they participated in the extended day program. Individualized student success plans outlining the customized academic interventions and wraparound supports. I spoke about those plans earlier. They continue to implement, addressing students, again, academic needs and social emotional needs. Targeted academic and non-academic supports, including the offering of ELA and algebra support classes, extra help sessions provided during and after school. The Saturday Academy was not just for AP, but for all students to be able to have the opportunity to improve their level of proficiency. So those were offered, and counselors, along with house principals, conducted periodic check-ins with students, focusing on academic progress, course planning and scheduling, emotional well-being checks, as well as addressing any emerging barriers to graduation. As a reminder, the goal for this objective was to increase by 2% our district 4-year graduation rate. Let's take a look at what we did. Thank you, Nick. So, we're now going to take a look at 3 years, because we wanted to, if I don't know how many are aware of this, but graduation data lags. So although we're in 2025, the most recent data that we have is last year's. So we wanted to build context, so we are providing you 3 years of data from the 2022 school year, 2023 school year, and 2024 school year. So as the slide reflects, the graduation rate has remained relatively stable across the 3 periods of time, both for the overall district, and when we say overall district, that includes our high school, our students who are served out of district, and our homebound students. And we also wanted to look at just the high school, as its own entity. So while we aimed for a 2% increase, We instead observed a slight improvement of 1% with the overall district rate. And so now we're going to take a deeper look at the 2023 school year as well as the 2024 school year, examining outcomes for both the overall district as well as the high school by itself. This slide reflects the 4-year, 5-year, and 6-year cohort results for the overall district across the 2 years. As presented, regardless of the cohort, the percentage of students graduating has remained relatively flat, with the 4-year and 6-year cohorts showing a 1% increase and 5-year showing no change. These trends reflect overall stability in our graduation outcomes for the district. However, they also reinforce the critical importance of maintaining and strengthening our support systems, particularly those that assist students in completing their graduation requirements within the extended times when needed. This slide provides a subgroup breakdown of graduation rates for the 22-23 school year, offering insight into the performance across the multiple timelines. With 83% of students graduating within 4 years during that year, 86 graduated within 5, as well as within the 6-year time frame. While these figures indicated minimal change among the 3 cohorts, they also underscore the fact that when compared to the district average and all other subgroups, our English language learners lag behind their peers. This slide represents a subgroup breakdown of graduation rates for the 23-24 school year, offering insight into student outcomes over time. Last year, 84% of our students graduated within the 4 years, 86 did so in 5 years, 86%, sorry, and 87% did so in 6 years, demonstrating again minimal changes. While these figures reveal that, again, highlight a persistent and concerning gap for our English language learners because they continue to graduate at the lowest rate when compared to their peers across the various time frames. This slide represents the cohort-based analysis for just the high school, again over the 2 time periods, 2022, 23, and 23, 24. Similar to the overall district results, the high school graduation outcomes have remained relatively stable over time. The 4-year cohort showing no change, the 5-year indicating a 1% decline, and 6-year reflecting a 1% increase. These trends suggest steady performance overall, while again emphasizing the importance of ongoing support systems to help our students complete high school within the extended times when necessary. An analysis of the high school graduation data from the 22-23 school year. Once again, our English language learners demonstrated the lowest graduation rate when compared to the overall high school and their respective peer groups. For the 23-24, we have revealed consistent patterns and trends, both in the aggregate and across the subgroups. Again, our English language learners demonstrated, again, the lowest rate when compared to their respective peer groups. These reoccurring outcomes reinforce the pressing need for sustained, data-informed strategies that address the unique challenges being faced by our English language learners. Excuse me. As our results indicate, while there were some signs of progress, pockets of progress, substantial, let me repeat, substantial work remains ahead. So in response, we remain intentional, we remain data-driven, and we remain steadfast in our commitment to deepening instructional practice, strengthening academic supports, and boosting learner outcomes for all of our students. So to that end, we're pleased to share with you this year's goals and our key areas of focus. These priorities are in direct service to addressing our overarching goal and the 5 objectives outlined in the student learning direction. To evaluate our progress towards these objectives, this year we established 3 specific goals based on the results from last year. And they're aligned to one or more of the objectives. Goal 1, which is aligned to objectives A, B, and C, is to increase the percentage of students proficient in ELA by 4%, moving from 46 to 50%, and increase the percentage in mathematics by 3%, moving from 56% to 59%. This year, we will establish the baseline, as I said earlier, regarding the perception metric using the results from the climate survey. Goal 2, in support of Objective D, enhancing again student participation and performance in advanced coursework. To do so, we're looking at increasing the percentage of students enrolled in at least one AP or dual enrollment course by 6%, going from 43 to 49%, and increasing the percentage of students scoring at least a 3 on AP exams or earning dual enrollment college credits by 2%, moving from 67% to 69%. And for Goal 3, which is aligned to Objective E, again, that is to improve our overall district graduation rate, our goal is to do so by 2%, moving from 84% to 86%. Excuse me. At this time, Dr. Cracker will return and share the key areas of focus, the work that we're now doing that aligns to Objectives A, B, and C.
All right, thank you, Dr. Roberts. All right, so we will begin by focusing on the ongoing work aligned to Objectives A, B, and C, which emphasize 2 critical areas: the continued development and refinement of our comprehensive academic system designed to ensure high-quality, coherent instruction across all grade levels, and student performance in the areas of literacy and mathematics with a focus on increasing proficiency, closing achievement gaps, and fostering academic growth. Building on last year's efforts, we are deepening our commitment to high-quality instruction and academic equity through the following key initiatives: the continued implementation of our K-12 ELA, math, and science, plus grades 6-12 social studies, scope and sequence documents, accompanied by clearly defined learning targets and aligned assessments to ensure instructional coherence across grade levels. The launch of Principle 3 of the Culturally Responsive Sustaining Education Framework focused on inclusive curriculum and assessments. Ongoing administration of the dyslexia screener using the Amira tool to early identify and support students with reading challenges. Continued implementation of MTSS with an emphasis on strengthening Tier 1 instruction. Continued delivery of targeted academic intervention supports for students with unique learning needs. The use of data-informed practices to guide instructional decisions and improve student learning outcomes. Continued provision of targeted professional learning, addressing differentiation of instruction and specially designed instruction, and targeted instructional supports for English language learners. The creation of a pre-K-12 literacy plan to establish a unified and strategic approach to literacy development. This summer, we are launching a targeted English language learner summer reading initiative for incoming students in grades 9 through 12. The program is designed to introduce students to high school level literature and English language skills while promoting continuous language development beyond the traditional school year. Excuse me. So through curated texts and guided activities, The initiative aims to build reading comprehension, vocabulary, and critical thinking skills, supporting a smoother transition academically and sustained engagement with English language learners. As a result of obtaining a grant, we are pleased to implement the first All Kids Inclusive Learn to Ride bike program at Isaac E. Young Middle School, building upon the strong foundation established by the All Kids Bike program in our elementary schools. This initiative is designed to support adaptive physical education for our students with disabilities. And like the elementary All Kids Bike program, this too promotes physical wellness, goal setting, and confidence building. Additionally, the relaunch of instructional rounds to support collaborative professional growth and strengthen instructional practices through peer observation and reflection. To support the effective implementation of our multi-tiered system of supports, MTSS, we introduced our newly developed MTSS Tier 1 instructional schema, which serves as a foundational tool to promote shared understanding, consistency of practices, and high-quality instruction for all students. We provide ongoing professional learning and resources to ensure staff were equipped to implement the schema with fidelity and clarity. The visual model displayed here illustrates the universal supports offered to all students as a means of elevating their learning. Beginning with the outer layers, you'll notice on the left, an instructional alignment to the New York State Culturally Responsive Sustaining Education Framework with a focus on principles 2 and 3, inclusive education and rigorous instruction. And on the right, our district's high-quality teaching and learning actions, which define instructional expectations across classrooms. And at the core, in the middle of the schema, affectionately called the plate, you will find the instructional practices that directly support all learners, including differentiation of instruction, supports for English as a new language, serving our English language learners, specially designed instruction for students with disabilities. The strength of this schema lies in how each component works in harmony. A unified system that brings together culturally responsive practices, high-impact instruction, and inclusive supports. It is not just a framework, it is a collective approach that reflects our belief that every student deserves access to high-quality, responsive, and equitable instruction. Dr. Roberts will return to address our last two objectives.
So we will now speak to the work that is being done to support Objective D. This work continues with the offering of both academic and non-academic supports designed to build student awareness, self-confidence, and readiness for success in advanced placement and dual enrollment courses. While building on last year's work, our high school is leveraging My Brother's Keeper and My Sister's Keep Her programs to provide relationship building, social emotional learning supports, and leadership development opportunities, particularly for underrepresented students. They continue to implement, this is something new, they're implementing a one-on-one trusted adult support network, giving students a consistent connection to an adult whom they trust, encouraging academic confidence. This is what the one-on-one adult, the peer, and the adult mentor will do: encourage academic confidence, offer guidance, and connect them to resources aligned with their aspirations and needs. That is being done this year at the high school. They continue to engage in ongoing conversations with parents and families about the benefits of AP and dual enrollment, reinforcing a culture of high expectations and informed academic planning. To build readiness ahead of the academic year, intensive summer boot camps, AP boot camps, are being designed, They're in the process of doing that work now. So students will be able to have their foundational academic skills solidified. They'll have familiarity with the course expectations, and they will leave with increased confidence. So when they enter these new spaces in the fall, they will be poised and ready for success. To ensure students and families are fully informed, our high school is expanding the development of our digital and print materials that highlight both AP and dual enrollment opportunities in multiple languages, including materials that address readiness indicators, course descriptions, the College Board resources, application and enrollment processes, as well as availability to academic supports. A new addition this year is a short video in which the current students share their experiences about taking AP courses, and they're offering their peers encouragement and tips. So when they don't have to be afraid of AP. Some of our kids are. And so it's good to know that you're about to see a video that highlights how some of these students are speaking to their prospective peers about, it's okay, you'll do well. So let's take a look.
Ask a lot of questions and make sure you're taking good notes, but also it's going to be challenging, so definitely take advantage of extra help.
To study. Just like study a little bit each night is fine. Don't go anything too crazy. Studying for like hours and hours at a time is like not effective.
I would say just make sure you're organized. Have like files where you can put all of your work, because AP classes you would get a lot of homework, but as long as you're on top of your organization, then everything else should fall behind.
You're more exposed to things like doing Socratic seminars and different like debate style things, and your teachers kind of get a lot more creative in ways that you wouldn't be learning in like a regular standard course.
Definitely writing skills. I can write essays really well and much faster now because they're timed on like AP language and history classes. And also just the ability to kind of like test-taking skills, like being able to relax and like read through the question and debunk a difficult question.
Thank you. We're proud of them. And so, yes, thank you for the High School of engaging students, for them to tell this story and encourage their peers. So now we're going to take a look at Objective E. So to advance our goal of increasing our district-wide four-year graduation rate, the high school is deepening its work through a focused and strategic set of actions that emphasize prevention, monitoring, and timely support. This includes quarterly audits of student transcripts to ensure equitable course-taking patterns across student groups, monitoring the student progress towards graduation, and the identification of barriers that would prevent students from completing their courses in a timely manner. To strengthen this critical practice this year, so the audits are not new, it's a continuation, but this year this piece is new. School leaders, including the principal, assistant principals, and house principals, are now auditing the audits conducted by our counselors. So this layer of checks and balances ensures a rigor of accuracy because we all make mistakes. And so it's good that we're coming back and we're checking to make certain, because we do not want any of our students to fall through the cracks. So this is an additional layer of the review process. Staff are working to enhance the quality and consistency of implementation of the Student Success Plan. Again, these personalized plans address academic interventions, course selection guidance, and tailored supports. Excuse me. To reduce the risk of students falling behind, the high school is expanding the in-time credit recovery opportunities during the school day. These options help students regain their lost credits promptly and stay on pace for graduation, as well as provide the opportunity for them to avoid the delay of completing a course that they missed or failed. So this proactive approach provides flexibility, provide responsive supports that addresses students' need, and again, being very targeted, so we are customizing and addressing the individual students' needs. As our graduation data we saw showed, our English language learners continue to lag behind their peers. So we couldn't just give, oh, this is what we're doing for all students, and not have an intentional focus on how we're addressing the needs when we saw the data was so glaring. So to address in addition to the aforementioned supports, okay, the high school is implementing a series of targeted strategies to better support our English language learners to be on their path to graduation. These efforts include expanded academic support. Students are receiving targeted academic interventions through our expanded learning program and after-school support, with a specific focus on English language acquisition, literacy, and vocabulary development. Aligned ENL curriculum. The ENL English classes are more closely aligned with the general education English courses, ensuring our English language learners have access to high-quality resources excuse me, and instructional experiences regardless of their language proficiency level. Ongoing teacher capacity building. Our ENL teachers are deepening, they're committed to deepening their instructional toolkit, their repertoire, by adding strategies and collaborating with each other, so with the need of specifically addressing the needs of our English language learners. You heard earlier from Dr. Krakow that there will be an ELL Summer Reading Initiative. And again, this is specifically designed to address incoming 9th graders, 10th graders, 11th graders, and 12th graders. This program aims to not just get them ready for the next grade, but to maintain language development over the summer so there is not regression. So students will have a successful transition into their next level English course and will be better positioned for success. These actions represent a concerted effort to close the achievement gap and increase the likelihood of academic success and graduation for our English language learners. Lastly, we're planning the development of a comprehensive K-12 early warning indicator system designed to identify students with unique learning needs for early academic or early academic risk factors, provide timely, tiered interventions across all grade levels, not just at the high school because we need to catch them early, so from elementary all the way through to high school. Support long-term academic success and graduation readiness. This system will shift us from being reactive to being more proactive and preventing students from falling through the cracks, enabling earlier identification and providing more strategic resource allocation. Although there is progress and momentum, so if you notice, we were very transparent. We set our own goals, district goals. We did not meet them. It's not that we did not have any improvement, we did, but the improvement was minimal. So we acknowledge that, right? We recognize the fact that there is still much to be done in order for us to achieve the overarching goal and the 5 objectives of the student learning direction. So, to that end, we would like to offer you a glimpse beyond this school year, sharing our forward-thinking vision and next steps as we continue to advance, as we continue to move forward in attaining the overall goal, along with the objectives, deepening impact, and lastly, and most importantly, elevating student learning. So to that end, these are our priorities. The creation and implementation of a pre-K-12 literacy plan, ensuring a cohesive district-wide approach to literacy development from early learning, meaning from pre-K, all the way through graduation. The development and use of a pre-K2 reading readiness set of indicators to assess and support early literacy skills during the most critical years of learning. The continued creation of our comprehensive curriculum maps across subject areas to ensure clarity, alignment, and coherence in instruction, specifically development of our K-5 social studies scope and sequence. Elementary, we have not forgotten you. We will be addressing social studies. It's coming, okay? Refining the units of study for our current maps in K-12 ELA, math, and science, as well as grade 6, 12 social studies. Scope and sequence alignment for both physical education and the arts. We will also be focusing on the expansion of integrated co-teaching models to promote greater access and inclusive learning environments for our students with disabilities. The creation and implementation, I talked about that we're currently this year, we're in the planning phase. Moving forward, we want to move from planning to an actual development and implementation of our K-12 early warning indicator system to proactively identify and support students with emerging academic or social emotional needs. And continuing, because we know the importance and the treasure of providing students the opportunity to start learning at the pre-K level. That is probably one of the most effective research-based interventions. So we want to make certain that we continue to expand and to grow our pre-K program so we can ensure that our students are better positioned for kindergarten and beyond. These initiatives reflect our strategic focus on equity alignment, early intervention, positioning us to deliver even greater outcomes for our students and community in the years ahead. So tonight you saw Ward, right? And I didn't acknowledge him at the beginning because I knew this slide would be coming. Excuse me. All of these objectives that we just talked about, objectives A through E, and the overarching goal of the student learning direction. This work is not something that can be done from 515 North Avenue. It requires the people who are the boots on the ground. And so it is important that in closing, that we take the time to acknowledge those individuals who are helping to make this work visible and alive in our schools. And so with that, I want to begin by acknowledging our site-based administrators, including our principals, our assistant principals, and department chairs for their steadfast leadership and commitment to excellence. Our instructional coaches, our teachers, and support staff, including our teaching assistants and our aides. Whose dedication, creativity, and care are at the heart of student success. And our central office team, including, for those of you who do not know Hilda Castro, she's the only person I'm going to call out tonight, I promise. She is the backbone of our office. We cannot do anything without Hilda. So, and we appreciate, she volunteered to come tonight, so thank you, Hilda. So I really appreciate and really I am privileged to serve as the leader of the CNI team because they have such a passion and a heart, and they're such dedicated people. So thank you for your continued vision, coordination, and tireless efforts to ensure high-quality teaching and learning occur across the district. Couldn't do it without you. So collectively, our administrators, our instructional team in our schools, our support staff, and our central office, thank you for your commitment. Thank you for your collective efforts. Thank you because you're making a difference. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So, board, this concludes the presentation. Thank you for your attention.
So I want to thank Dr. Roberts and the team for displaying, evaluating, and promoting the importance of our collective work, with the emphasis being the work that happens on the daily basis in the classrooms with our students and our teachers. That relationship is the most pivotal. So with that, and I also want to thank our community and our members here in the audience for sitting through that lengthy presentation. We did promise you in years past that we would be bringing you data. This community has been asking for data, and we are keeping true to our promise. So with that, we ask our board members for any questions or reflections.
Vice President Brooks?
Thank you so much for that presentation. I have quite a few questions. The first, though, I do want to just reiterate our thanks for the transparency, even on the some of the data that was flat. I think your commitment to showing that data is how we're going to learn from it going forward. So thank you for that. My first question is just to explain both the graduation rates data. Well, I'll start with that one, where it was 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, but on a number of the places, the 6-year rate went down. So if, let's see if I can find a good example. It was the next, one more before. Yeah, like, like that's a good example. Like, so for, let's just use African-American students, you have 85% for a 4-year, 94% for a 5-year, and then 89% for a 6-year. Can you, I'm sure there's a good explanation, I just don't really understand how to read that.
So the denominator is not the entire cohort of the high school. It is the number of students. So the number of students who are in their 6th year, that is the denominator. So out of that group, what percentage of them graduated within the 6 years? So if the 4 of us, if it's taking us 6 years to graduate, right? And the 3 of you graduate within 6 years, and I did not, then the rate would be 75%. It's not cumulative.
Got it. Okay, that makes more sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then my next question, also a kind of a data question, was on the both AP exams and the dual enrollment. The number of students enrolled was like in the 40s. I don't want to get the number right. And then the number of students that achieved a 3 or more or got credit was much higher in the 60s. So is that of the students that took the class?
Yes, and that's what I emphasized. That's why I said the 809 and the 442.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
And then just a good piece of news, the Regents Math Jump, which I forget where that is. Do you have any theories as to what can we learn from that
So I'm going to call
increase?
because I'm going to ask Dr. Artiles to see if he has an answer. If not, that's something I can work with our math department chair to give you an answer in writing. But I cannot speak to, because I'm not going to make up an answer. I cannot speak to concretely what led to that. But if Dr. Artiles can speak to it, I ask him to come.
Some content as to the progress with the regions, right? So clearly, going back when I arrived at New Rochelle High School, we identified that we were roughly 60% of the students were performing on the Algebra 1 regions. What we found is we began to do analysis over the summer, taking the regions, breaking down the regions, the performance of the students, identifying the areas where the students were struggling, and then that is what set our goals for the following year. So we have been building on that consistently. So teachers already, they come to September already with specific goals, specific areas that are going to be addressed, because we found that the rising 8th graders, which becomes our 9th graders, were actually lacking in the same area as the 9th grader that just finished completing the Algebra 1 regions. So that's where the strength is. So he's sort of identifying those areas, creating strategies to address those areas and to close the gap. So that's the reason why the success.
Oh, I'm glad to have a concrete answer, and I think that maybe creates a path for some of our other areas we're not seeing that same kind of growth. So thank you for that, and congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. And I will also say, under the leadership, not just for math, because I believe at the high school, all 4 department chairs are doing similar work. So I do know that they have strong PLCs, that the teachers are committed to coming together, analyzing student work, and really making some deep instructional changes based on the data. And I do know that in math, they also do peer visitation, so the teachers will visit each other's classrooms to be able to see instructional practices, which then expands, it's the rising tide lifting all boats. So I do know that they have done those types of strategies, implemented those practices.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks. Any other, Ms. Ross?
First of all, thank you for all of this information and all the work that you guys do, and to kind of the entire team in our school district. And it's great to see the data. It's great to see that there's some really nice pockets of improvement over the last year, couple of years. I actually just had a couple of questions, and one is, can you just help me understand, when we look at the data, there's like a composite score, and then you have it broken down by star, et cetera. What's the composite score? Yes, that one. What does that mean versus the others?
This is, sorry, Dr. Reynolds. I like moving, sorry. This is a combination of not K, because this is math, grade 1 through 8 star results, grades 3 through 8 NICET assessments, Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. That is the composite.
Okay, so it puts all of the other pieces together.
Yes, because if you go back to the strategic roadmap, the objective, the metric is about the composite, not the individual assessments. But we wanted to provide a level of transparency, because we could have just stayed at that level, because we would have honored the request of sharing where we are with the strategic roadmap. But we felt, Dr. Reynolds felt that it was important that we are very transparent with where we are as a system. That's the only way we're going to grow. People know I say this all the time. Data makes the invisible visible. Good, bad, and different. Let's take a look at it and let's grow from it.
And then just a question on ELA, and I think Dr. Krakow, you mentioned that it was the first time that we've moved online, and so that could probably explain why there might have been a difference. But I guess, did we see a difference in performance overall within the state to also kind of demonstrate the same?
I believe so. Jim, can you speak to that? Do you know if overall the 3.8 NICET, did the state have a dip in ELA, or was there an increase? I don't know.
I believe there was a dip, but we were on par with the rest of the state.
Yeah, there was a dip.
Okay, so it's kind of just that it's a new...
We do not know if that contributed. It may be a corollary factor. We cannot say it was causation, and we would never stand here and say that. We just wanted to lift that data point to say that that was the first year we did an online assessment.
Got it. And then the state assessments versus the STAR assessments, what's the difference? Like, what are they assessing that is the same or different?
Okay. So the STAR is a norm reference assessment. There is a dotted line to the standards because it does have a standards report, but it is a normed reference assessment that is taken, anyone who's taking a STAR across these United States will be taking the same assessment. So it is not criterion-based. It is not directly connected to our standards, right? The grades 3 through 8 and the regions are standards-aligned criterion-based assessments, which are assessing what we are directly teaching in our schools, right? The STAR is a norm reference which gives us another look as to where we are relative to not just the students in New York, but where their peers are across the country.
And then just again on the ELA, just because I know over the last couple of years I've been on the board that we've invested a lot more in professional learning. I can't recall what the new kind of reading.
And we did. That is true. We have a math coach here, and they tell us all the time that we focus a whole lot on literacy. And she's shaking her head right now.
And I've heard it in the
math.
elementary schools we've gone into around phonics and reading comprehension and all of those things. So this doesn't necessarily correlate with the amount of work that we've put in as a district. So do we have a sense of why maybe we're not seeing it, or do we kind of expect that it's something you'll see in kind of years 2 and 3?
Because again, where we're focusing the literacy is the foundational years, right? So the phonics instruction, those kids are in pre-K 2, some 3, right? So I believe, right? I'm not a betting person, but I believe that in the next 2-3 years, we should see the type of increase in ELA that we want to see, right? Regardless of the assessment that is being used to measure, because of the level of fidelity and the work that is being done, and our teachers, their willingness to engage in professional learning. We actually, I think Nick had a call from a principal who said, oh, there's a teacher who would like to do our OG training, but because of religious beliefs, she can't do it on the weekends, right? We have people who are seeking us out to participate in our PL. That just happened today, right? And so our teachers are coming to the professional learning, they're participating, and they're going back and they're implementing, and they're seeing the change in our students. So I believe in time, the harvest will be bearing fruit.
Excellent, thank you.
Ms. Lewis?
Hi, I know it's late. I'm going to turn these into statements and for future topics. Oh, there we go. I don't need to answer for all these today. My first point, I'm wondering what we're doing to meet parents where they are so that they can help with that summer gap, and even throughout the year to make sure that that rigor stays in place, and not just from school but also from home. The second point was wondering, I know nationally COVID has taken a hit for math, ELA, et cetera, over the years across the whole country. So I'm wondering where New Rochelle kind of fits in that landscape. I'm sure we're not exempt, but I think it would also be helpful. Like, I know folks feel as though we're very far removed, but I know that the country is still picking up in terms of those statistics. The other point was to, in the future presentations, connect the amount of rigor that we're taking in those AP courses and those advanced placement college level courses with the types of colleges that they're recommended to apply to by the time they are finishing school. So I'm wondering if there's a change in that based on the types of courses that they're taking beforehand. And the last point was, let me see. That's it. Thank you.
So I'm going to answer 2 of the 3 right now very quickly so we don't have to put it in writing. And I know, teachers, I know it's a long day and a long night. I promise I won't be long. Because I need to give our schools credit. So they do a lot for our parents. As a matter of fact, I believe Principal Mealy, when he was presenting, talked about the family night, literacy night, that was done here recently. So a lot of our schools, they do that type of learning. I also know that Dr. Joyner, when she presented, also spoke about what are they called, deep dive Saturdays. So there are different programs. Now, can we do more? Yes. But there's a level of work that is being done primarily driven by our schools, okay? In regard to the national landscape, yes, we're still not on a national scale looking at the NAEP data, which is the National Assessment for Educational Progress, that data which is given in grades 4, 8, and 12 across the country. The data still reveal that we're lagging behind in ELA more so than in mathematics. As a matter of fact, just a little anecdote, that the STAR assessment, the parent company's Renaissance Learning, they actually changed their norms and lowered the percentage of students reaching benchmarks. We did not accept those norms in this district, because we felt that if we lower it and say, oh, if Nick last week needed help, this week he doesn't need help, that's a lie, right? So yes, nationally, there is still a gap. The colleges, we will come back. We do have some data. We just didn't include it today because the data came late. But the state of New York has a partnership with the National Clearinghouse, which provides persistence data about the colleges that students are going to and how they're persisting and whether or not they're graduating on time. We just received that data. We're going to disaggregate it. We'll put it in a board report, but then we'll also come back when the time presents itself to present to the community.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Williams?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Roberts, Dr. Krakow, and Dr. Artiles for the presentation with the SMART goals and year one. I just have a comment. I would be interested in having more ongoing information about the progress of the students. And also, I'm looking forward to the students making higher gains next year. And also to see how we're going to work differently and what things we will maintain to achieve the higher goals for the students next year.
Thank you. And board member, I will follow up with you personally because I want to make certain I'm understanding what you're asking. So I won't ask for you to elaborate now, but through Board President Iannuzzi and with guidance from the superintendent, I'd like to follow up when you say you'd like to know more about ongoing progress of students. So you don't have to share now, but I'd like to follow up to make certain we're able to, we're on the same page and we're able to honor your request.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Great, thank you. Dr. Reynolds, that's it for questions, if you want to wrap it up.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much for your attention.
Board members, we can return to the dais where we will start public comment. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to convene into the public comment period of the meeting. The Board of Education adopted Policy 1230 in April 2022 to ensure all members of the public had the opportunity to speak at both of our board meetings each month. We believe it is crucial for us to hear from our community members about their concerns and issues. Having said that, please note that the board is here to listen. The public comment period is not designed to be a discussion. Accordingly, understand the board will not respond to your concerns and questions tonight. We take your concerns and questions seriously and want to have sufficient time to process and research issues if need be. We will, however, respond to your questions and concerns at a future meeting or have the proper staff member get back to you at the appropriate time. I also want to point out that under state and federal privacy laws, we are unable to entertain any comments or questions about school personnel and students. Please know, however, that we take personal concerns very seriously. On these matters, we would ask you to go through the appropriate administrative channels. Finally, we recognize that right now our nation and our community are polarized on a number of issues. That said, we want our school board meetings to serve as an example to our students that members of our school board and members of our community can deal with controversial issues in a civil manner and demonstrate mutual respect for one another. In that spirit, we will insist that all speakers and members of the audience maintain civility and respect for any divergent views that others possess. We ask that speakers please address their comments to the board directly rather than the audience. In the unlikely event the meeting becomes unruly, the board will recess the meeting and return once order has been restored. Finally, I want to remind everyone that you may submit written comments to the board in lieu of speaking during the public comment period if you so choose. Tonight, we've set aside 30 minutes for public comment, where each speaker who is signed up before 3:30 today has 3 minutes to speak. If a person requests to speak after 3:30, speakers may sign up in person at the meeting with the clerk and will be afforded the opportunity to speak. Our first speaker of the night is Mr. Carlos Del Aguila.
Good evening. My name is Carlos Del Aguila, and I'm a junior at the high school. I speak to you tonight not in any official capacity, but as a concerned student and a representative of my peers through the Student Advisory Board and the student government. We, the students, have been silent up until now, hoping that the budget issues plaguing the district would be resolved. But now the time for silence is over. We find ourselves deeply disappointed, and I stand to make it clear, we, the students, are not blind to what is happening. We, the students, find it wholly unacceptable that teachers receive notifications of their layoffs during the school day. Teachers, people who have dedicated their lives to our education, are left in tears over losing their jobs, and more painfully, the jobs of their dear colleagues. The emotional toll this has taken on our staff and students is immense and is pervasive to our very school culture. Let me be clear in my role here tonight. I don't claim to know every financial detail of this district's budget, but I do know this. Our district employs an official to manage its budget. And yet, despite this resource, we can't seem to find a better solution to the crisis at hand. The misinformation surrounding this issue must stop. We demand accountability and transparency. We demand a new budget, one that prioritizes the future of this district and its students. The programs of our district have given every student the opportunity to not only make their way towards their high school diplomas, but more importantly, to thrive in some of the most successful programs in our county. From our science research program, which has produced 6 internationally recognized students, our PAVE program, which has received multiple awards for our students' emotive performances and creations, and our now canceled SELA program at the elementary level, which give many of our youngest students the opportunity to connect with others. These types of programs have been the envy of schools far and wide. And yet these are the very programs that are the highest risk of being cut if the budget does not pass. There's a significant amount of misinformation circulating, and it's time we set the record straight. We, the students, demand to know, with the delay of the Capital Prep Charter School until 2026, where is that money now? Why did we... Thank you. Why did we create more central administration positions when our district's overall student population has dropped by approximately 1,000 students within the past decade? The issue is not with the teachers, nor their supposed unwillingness to cooperate. The issue lies with the very Board of Education. The people who took an oath to serve and protect the interests of our students have failed us through the mismanagement of COVID funding in the past. And now we, the students, are demanding action. We are demanding that our voices be heard. We are demanding that the Board of Education provide alternative solutions to the problems that they themselves have created in past years, such as the idea of a possible pay freeze, which would, in theory, help resolve this gap. We are demanding that this Board of Education take responsibility for the situation it has created and work towards a solution that benefits all of us without sacrificing the very things that make New Rochelle special. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Next up is Miss Zager, Karen Zager. Karen Zager. Gotcha.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Karen Zager, and I've been a bilingual elementary teacher in New Rochelle for almost 2 decades. I would like to talk about the state of bilingual programs in the elementary schools, first in English and then in Spanish. When I started here, New Rochelle was seen as the gold standard for bilingualism and biliteracy. The program has changed over the years, but it has historically maintained the pedagogical best practice that students who are English language learners must be taught in both their native language and in English to not lose those cognitive development in critical elementary grades. Now, the District of New Rochelle has almost completely eliminated the bilingual program in the South End schools, Trinity, Columbus, and Jefferson. Why does the Ward School still benefit from having a bilingual program? Why are these beneficial programs being stripped from our South End students? New York State CR Part 154 declares that parents have, and I quote, the right to have your children in a bilingual education program when there are 20 or more grade level students that speak the same home/primary language, end quote. This means that bilingual education is a civil right. If you would like to find out more information about requesting for these services, please call 1-800-469-8224. Muy buenas noches. Me llamo Karen Zager y he sido maestra bilingüe de primaria de New Rochelle durante casi 2 décadas. Quisiera hablar sobre el estado de los programas bilingües en las escuelas primarias. Cuando yo empecé aquí, New Rochelle era considerada la referencia para el bilingüismo. El programa ha cambiado con los años, pero históricamente ha mantenido la buena práctica pedagógica de que los estudiantes aprenden inglés, deben recibir clases tanto en su lengua materna como en inglés, para no perder desarrollo cognitivo de los grados cruciales de primaria. Ahora, el distrito de New Rochelle ha eliminado casi por completo el programa bilingüe en las escuelas del sur, Trinity, Columbus y Jefferson. ¿Por qué se beneficia la escuela de Ward de tener un programa bilingüe todavía? ¿Por qué se les están quitando estos programas beneficiosos a los estudiantes del sur? La parte CR 154 del Estado de Nueva York declara que los padres tienen, cito, derecho a que sus hijos participen en un programa de educación bilingüe cuando haya 20 estudiantes o más de nivel de grado que hablen la misma lengua materna o lengua primaria. Fin de cita. Esto significa que la educación bilingüe es un derecho civil. Gracias por su tiempo.
Next up is Miss Brenda DiGiacomo.
Brenda DiGiacomo, a mom, a community member, a graduate from here, 4 kids that already graduated and wouldn't be where they were if it wasn't for our school district and our amazing teachers. 1 graduated from New Rochelle, 3 graduated from Huguenot Academy / St. Gabe's, who has now been a PTSA for 4 years now, and not one time has a board gave us a meeting for representing our school, our students, and our community over at Huguenot Academy. When are you going to make time to represent us and have a board meeting for us? That I have asked for. Now we have all these teachers sitting here 10 o'clock at night that have to go teach our students in the morning, sitting here because they're worrying about their jobs. We have teachers sitting here stressing out, not knowing if the budget's going to pass, how many more teachers be cut, and they're going out looking for other jobs. Aren't we worried about losing more teachers to other school districts because they're not sure whether they're going to have a job? Then we're giving people tenure. Then we're giving people tenure, but saying, okay, sorry, you gotta go. And then we're giving other people tenure who has multiple written up, okay? Multiple written up by teachers, by staff, by parents. I also wanna know how this person got a tenure. I also wanna know how I can have this person written up. My son goes to school here, and when he sees this person, he's 7 years old, with special needs, you know what he says? Stranger danger. My son should not have to say that in his elementary school. Something needs to be done. At many of these meetings I talk at, when did anybody call me back? When did people from the board reach out and answer any of my concerns? When is something going to be done for our students, our staff, and most importantly, our kids, that you're taking away teachers that are graduating next year, that are using the teachers that are writing recommendations for college? Are we thinking about that? Are we thinking about how we're hurting our teacher by taking so many teachers away? And how many teachers are you really going to sit and wait for 7 years and maybe get a job back and maybe not? By then, they're going to have a better job and not want to leave it. And who's being screwed? Our kids and our kids' education. We need to do better for our community and our students, because not only the students now, it's my grandchildren and future students in our education. Bring our community back to the way it was years ago instead of keep hurting it and making it worse and worse. We want to bring new students in. Let's make it better for them instead of keep messing it up. Thank all your teachers for everything you do. I love you. I love most of you.
Next up is Vanessa Soman. Vanessa Soman.
Hello, good evening. It's hard to follow all of these wonderful people who are speaking on behalf of our community. I come as a parent. But one of the things in my hugest concern is that there is still time to revise the budget. There have been many, many really good solutions put forth, things that the community are willing to forego instead of teachers. And I see no willingness. There is time to make changes. And that's what we're at. And the change isn't the 3.95%. We're not asking for that change. We're asking for the line-by-line budget item changes. We don't want teachers to be gone. I don't see how you're going to achieve what you just put forth, and it sounded beautiful. It was beautiful. But how are you going to achieve that? Because there is more to come, and we know this. So implementing some solutions that have been put forth, I hope there's a willingness to do that, because we don't want there to be a catastrophic cliff, and we don't want to lose more teachers. So please take this time to go back and try to change some of these things so that we can save our teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Soman. Next up is Mr. Vincent Malfitano.
Good evening. It's 10 o'clock. Do my kids know where their father is? I'm very happy to see the kids here perform tonight. A 40-year teacher. I always like to see that. Small item. I've been asking for the longest time, when I turn on the video at home, I never see the Pledge of Allegiance recited. You call the meeting to order, you stand up, and you hear nothing. I emailed you, and Mr. Inuzzi said, well, you have to speak to the tech people. Well, you sat here and used the microphones. Why don't you just pick up the microphone and say the pledge when you stand up? I don't get it. The charter school, I heard, was going to be delayed. I don't know if that's a true thing or not. But if that's the case, do you still have to set aside the $1.9 million this year? In terms of recording stuff, I was home listening to you, and I'm glad you took the suggestion of giving people a rundown of positions and job titles that might be lost. But I couldn't write it down fast enough. And did you know I can't record that at home? Please speak to the people and ask why, as a citizen, I can't record this meeting on my TV at home on cable. You can't do it. Now, where is that information that you recited tonight? Where can I find that information? I'd like to see where that is. But in terms of saving some money, busing kids out of district to very expensive private schools. Last year, 316 kids were bused to schools, God knows where, at a cost of about $5,000 a kid, that we don't have to spend $1.8 million. Now, I'm all for the idea if we have the money, but we don't. So, to all of the rich folks out there listening to my voice who send their kids to a $20,000 or $30,000 elementary school somewhere, how about this year kicking in and save 46 or 50 people's jobs? How about it? Another thought. I hear you're talking about perhaps increasing the distance to 2 miles before you can get a bus to elementary school. Meanwhile, we're going to pay $5,000 for a kid to go to a school up in White Plains? So let's think about our priority. Oh, excuse me. Elections have consequences. You asked about the South End schools? Okay, folks, you know how it works. Now, The last item that I wanted to talk about was our state representatives who have failed us greatly. But if we can get through this mess, how about we try to elect some people that are actually child, parent oriented rather than this political crap? Thank you.
Next up is Miss Mary Breslin.
Good evening. My name is Mary Claire Breslin, always the proud president of New Rochelle Fuse. I would like to commend the student speaker for his powerful words and recognition of the efforts of our dedicated teachers and staff. I am, however, compelled to address one point regarding the pay freeze. New Rochelle Fuse is a union with a constitution and bylaws. These important documents contain the fundamental principles that outline our purpose and structure, as well as establish specific rules and regulations by which we function. There is nothing in our Constitution or bylaws that provides for undoing a democratically ratified contract vote. Our union represents over 1,400 members who ratified a contract on May 12th, 2023. Negotiations are give and take in order to secure the salary increases for the 25-26 school year. The Fuse made many concessions which benefited the district greatly. It is extremely disconcerting that the administrator for the Student Advisory Council did not know or did not explain union rights and obligations before this meeting. In closing, the New Rochelle Fuse membership overwhelmingly voted to approve our current contract in 2023. Proper financial planning should always be done before any salary negotiations. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, everyone. We are now going to move on to our consent agenda personnel resolutions. One more. Miriam, you're up.
Sorry, I was waiting for my turn. Good evening. A couple of things. It was wonderful seeing the student choir. It was, they were very representative of our population. I right away noticed once again in another school that unfortunately the tenured teachers does not reflect the diversity of our population. And I wondered that, and one of the parents, as soon as I saw them outside, asked me the same thing, and I said, that is something I would be bringing up because it hit me hard. And if it didn't hit you hard, it hits us hard. We see it and we notice it, and so do our kids. So we need to figure out why is it that we cannot have tenured teachers that reflect our school population. I'm also thinking these are the folks that you're hiring that are pretty new, so that means we're not hiring people that are reflecting our student population. The other thing in here that always is disheartening to me is this category, subgroup, economically disadvantaged. We've talked about this before, or I've brought this up. I don't know what it means because it's not just about lunch money, because there's been times when you've had both lunch, free lunch and economically disadvantaged, but it is a horrible category. And I don't know who we're calling these 358 students economically disadvantaged. We got to figure out a better way to categorize them and exactly, what does that mean? So that's what I saw here. The other thing that I noticed talking about the budget, one of the things that I thought we might let go of is, and I know they do great jobs, this is not about anybody, but these coaching teachers, teach the teachers, right? I'm thinking this is like teacher 101. So it's good to have it when you have money, but you have literacy coaching, math coaching, whatever, ELA. This is people who are teaching the teachers. And when we don't have, we're getting rid of the teachers, but we're not getting rid of the coaches. I don't fully understand that. I also, when I look at our curriculum, I'm sorry, I couldn't see this thing. It was really small, so I hope I get a copy, but the results weren't that great. We have a superintendent of curriculum. We have a K through 12 director that we didn't have before. I don't think that that's being removed from our budget, but this is the kind of thing, yet we have this kind of results. And I know it may take a while, but to me, we should be able to do better with the amount of money that we have.
Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Singh. So next up is consent agenda personnel resolutions. Colleagues, can I get a motion and a second to approve consent agenda for personnel resolutions number 25-349, 1 through 9, number 25-350.
Ladies and gentlemen, I understand that you may be transitioning out, but can we do so respectfully? We do have a board meeting to continue.
Sorry. It's for the record. Oh.
Can I get a motion and a second to approve consent agenda for personnel resolutions number 25-349, 1 through 9, number 25-350, 1 through 4, number 25-351, 1 through 8, and number 25-352, 1 through 18, according to the recommended action for each item?
So moved, Castellano Minaya, and congratulations to the retirees.
Seconded Vega.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Colleagues,
Sorry, guys, the next item, Vice President Brooks is going to call because I have to abstain from it. So, Vice President Brooks, I'll throw it to you.
can I get a motion and a second to approve Resolution 25-353, authorizing a lease agreement with the Boys and Girls Club of New Rochelle?
So moved, Ross.
Seconded Vega.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstentions?
Abstention.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks. Colleagues, can I get a motion and a second to approve consent agenda for general resolutions number 25-354 through number 25-365, according to the recommended action for each item?
So moved, Castellano Minaya.
Second, Brooks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next meeting is going to be Tuesday, May 6th. It's the budget public hearing, and then the regular meeting at New Rochelle High School. Colleagues, I will not be at that meeting. I'll be at a conference in San Diego. So Vice President Brooks will chair the meeting. Can I get a motion second to adjourn the meeting?
Second, Brooks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good night, everyone.